You've been told that being available makes you a good person, always there, always answering, always ready. But here's the brutal truth. Availability is weakness in disguise. When you make yourself too accessible, people stop valuing you. They start consuming you like air, unnoticed, unappreciated, and taken for granted. Carl Jung warned that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that's exactly what constant availability steals from you. Yourself. You hand it away piece by piece until there's nothing left but exhaustion and quiet resentment. But the moment you pull back, when you stop being endlessly available, everything shifts. Suddenly, the room notices your silence. The people who ignored you now question your absence. Respect returns, not because you asked for it, but because you withdrew it. This is not about cruelty. It's about power, and power begins with restraint. Jung understood that your shadow, the part of you you've buried, holds your unapologetic strength. To access it, you must withdraw from the endless demands of others. So let me challenge you directly. Are you ready to stop being consumed and start being respected? There was a man who lived his life as an open door. His phone was always on, his time always negotiable, his energy always available to anyone who asked. At work, he was the one who stayed late when others left. In relationships, he was the one who bent first, apologized first, forgave first, even when he wasn't wrong. He thought this made him dependable, admirable, loved. But the truth? It made him invisible. People respected his labor, but not his limits. They expected his yes before he even spoke it, and each time he gave in, a small part of him withered. Then came the breaking point. One night, drained and hollow, he looked at himself in the mirror and realized he had become a shadow of a man. Not respected, not feared, not even truly loved. Just used. So he did something radical. He stopped answering. He stopped being available. Calls went unanswered. Invitations declined. He pulled back into solitude, and almost immediately, everything shifted. The same people who ignored him suddenly wanted his attention. His silence carried more weight than his constant presence ever did. Carl Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that are important to you." In his withdrawal, this man found clarity. His absence spoke a language louder than his availability ever could, and from that silence, he began to rebuild his power. Measured, heavy, like a mentor revealing a dangerous truth. Cold clarity, masculine authority, every line designed to pierce. Carl Jung warned us that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Why? Because most people live behind masks. The mask of the dependable friend, the mask of the nice guy, the mask of the always available caretaker. Jung called this mask the persona, the face you show the world to gain acceptance. But here's the catch. The persona is not who you truly are. It is a performance, and when you perform endlessly, you begin to suffocate your deeper nature. The raw, unapologetic force Jung called the shadow. The shadow is everything you've buried. Your anger, your pride, your power, your refusal to be used. Society taught you to repress it. Culture told you it was dangerous. But Jung understood that without the shadow, you are incomplete. Half a man, diluted and weak. Availability is one of the great traps of the persona. It disguises itself as kindness but secretly drains you. You say yes when you mean no. You sacrifice your time while resenting it. You bend so often that you forget what standing straight even feels like. This disconnection births quiet rage, bitterness, and despair. But here lies the paradox. When you withdraw, when you stop being endlessly available, you begin to integrate the shadow. That unclaimed part of you emerges as strength, as boundaries, as power. Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The act of withdrawal is the act of making darkness conscious. It is choosing solitude over slavery, silence over noise, restraint over submission. And in that silence, the world reacts differently. Your absence becomes presence. Your no becomes power. The man who integrates his shadow is no longer at the mercy of others' demands. He is no longer chasing approval. He is rooted in himself. And because he is rooted, others bend around him instead of the other way around. This is why Jung insisted that the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And you will never become who you are by being endlessly available. You become it when you pull back, confront your shadow, and reclaim what you've buried. Availability pleases the world. Withdrawal transforms it. Stop being nice. Stop apologizing. Stop proving yourself to people who don't value you. Jung and the Stoics both understood. The man who is always available has already surrendered his throne. If you want respect, you must reclaim your absence. Here's how. 1. Withdraw without warning. Stop announcing your every move. Silence carries more weight than explanation. When you pull back, don't justify it. A sudden absence forces others to confront how much they relied on your presence. 2. Cultivate sacred solitude. The Stoics sought strength in stillness. Jung sought it in the shadow. Both point to the same truth. You need time alone. Guard your solitude like a fortress. No one enters without permission. 3. Redefine boundaries. Enforce them coldly. A boundary that isn't enforced is an invitation. Stop saying yes when you mean no. Stop softening your refusal. Cold boundaries cut clean. Weak ones bleed you dry. 4. Kill the nice guy persona. Your persona is killing your power. Jung would tell you, integrate the shadow. That means owning your anger, your refusal, your pride. Stop being liked. Start being respected. 5. Control your time. Relentlessly. Time is your empire. Treat it as sacred territory. Don't be on call. Don't answer instantly. Train people to wait for you. Delayed access increases your value. 6. Embrace strategic absence. Sometimes, the most powerful move is disappearance. Miss the meeting. Decline the party. Skip the call. Your absence makes your presence worth something. Machiavelli himself called absence a weapon of power. 7. Detach from validation. Stop feeding on approval. It makes you a slave. The Stoics taught indifference to praise and insult alike. Jung taught individuation, standing as yourself. When you detach from validation, you can finally act from strength, not fear. These are not soft tactics. They are weapons. Every time you say no, every time you retreat into silence, every time you withhold access, you're training the world to treat you differently. You're no longer the man who's always there. You're the man whose presence has weight. If you've listened this far, you already know the truth. Being available has cost you everything. Your energy, your respect, your power. You've been drained by demands, hollowed out by expectations, invisible in the very rooms where you once gave everything. But understand this. The world will never hand your power back. You must take it. And the first step is withdrawal. Strategic, unapologetic withdrawal. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." You cannot become that man while you're chained to everyone else's needs. And Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Every time you bend, every time you give in, you waste what cannot be replaced. So here is the challenge. Starting today, deny access. Guard your solitude. Enforce your boundaries without apology. Pull back, not as weakness, but as strategy. Watch how fast people shift when they realize your presence is no longer guaranteed. Stop being available. Start being powerful. If this message hit you, it's because you know you've been living as less than what you are. Change that now. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to wake up, and subscribe to the Inner Citadel Project, because this is not entertainment. This is your blueprint for power.